very much for having us here, esteemed judges. I really appreciate the opportunity for this. Our Clean Air Grant proposal is to encourage children to walk or roll to school by establishing walking school bus routes. Introducing Officer Owl and Jessica Carthew. They are police-trained volunteers who are wearing block walker vests that easily identify them as with the well-known block parent symbol. So if you could turn around and model that. London is piloting this project, and we hope eventually that it will go nationwide, and we'll be able to share this with other block parent programs across the country. Did you know that just 1 in 3 children regularly walk to school in Canada? And did you know that vehicle trips to elementary school in London could account for almost 2 million kilometers traveled per year in London alone? And that's just elementary students. Academically, we know that these are the benefits of walking to school. So why aren't kids walking to school? That's what we want to know. So what are the barriers? There seems to be that most parents today probably walk to school themselves. So why don't their kids? What seems to be the greatest barrier? We think it's lack of safety. Our research tells us that. Whether it's real or it's perceived, it doesn't really matter. Coordinating walking school buses utilizes block parent volunteers, fills a much needed safety gap. A walking school bus is a very simple concept. If we can provide additional safety, then kids walk in safety. And there's safety in numbers. So while working within the school community, we'll be able to look for more block parent homes along those walking school routes and in the community at large. We've also established a business block parent program so that small businesses in neighborhoods can also become block parents, and they can provide safe havens during the daytime hours where there may not be residential ones. And it's a win-win. Walking to school as opposed to driving reduces carbon emissions. We improve safety by reducing the traffic congestion around the schools. And if anyone's been to a school at dismissal and arrival time, sometimes it's chaos. And of course we win some more. I think the most common, the most important one is that the long-term behavioral changes that will happen if kids are encouraged young to walk to school, then they'll choose active transportation in the future. We have a lot of national support for this initiative. Green Communities Canada has created a school travel planning project, and the school travel planning process will help us deliver this program within the school communities. And we have set up a committee of stakeholders through the Active and Safe Routes to School steering committee. Oops, I'm missing a page. So that's all set up. But what we really need is the grassroots initiative. We need the school stakeholders there. We need to get into the schools to make this happen, and this is what the funding grant will be used largely for. We need to hire a walking school bus program coordinator to help facilitate and coordinate the volunteer school travel planning committees and the volunteer block walkers. Okay. We have a pilot underway right now with the Active and Safe Routes to School Committee, and we're learning a great deal from it. And basically what happens is that some surveys are done in class and family surveys are taken home. Traffic and pedestrian counts are happening. Stakeholder walkabout happens so that those barriers are identified. Whether they're real or perceived, routes are, the most commonly traveled routes are identified, recommendations are made, and an action plan gets put into place. And all along, the stakeholders become part of the solution. We also have enough information to measure our improvements year over year for that individual school. It becomes a living document. So the beauty of this program is that it can be customized for each school based on needs identified. Establishing school bus routes, walking Wednesdays, the whole community gets involved. These are from other programs. Education happens. Visibility for safety for the kids at school. And we end up with kids who choose active transportation. So in conclusion, the Walking School Bus Project, utilizing police green volunteer block walkers, is a wonderful extension to the work that the Block Parent Program has done in London since 1968. At the same time, we'll be reaping the environmental benefits while improving safety for our children and changing behaviors for future generations. We appreciate your consideration of our funding request, and thanks for this opportunity.
Question?
Gail, right? Gail, excellent presentation. Just a question. Your biggest issue being safety, and I suppose along with that comes liability for those who participate. How are you going to overcome that?
Block Parent volunteers are covered under a blanket liability coverage, which is provided by the Block Parent Program of Canada. When we were given permission to start this pilot on behalf of the national program, we actually consulted with our insurer, who is the cooperators, and asked them what they felt about the liability of volunteers working in this capacity on our behalf. They actually felt that the liability was lowered as a result, and they were in full support of the pilot.
So the question I've got is around exactly what the funding is going to enhance over the current pilot. You've got volunteers, you've got the resources. What are we going to actually be enabling with our funding?
Well, we hope to be increasing the number of kids that walk to school with the programming that's involved with the school travel planning. And it'll be encouragement with educational programs. We'll be doing assemblies around the environment and safety and active transportation. We hope in the first year of doing a school travel plan and establishing walking school buses that will gain at least a 10% increase in walkability in the school. And then it becomes a year after year committee thing. Hopefully it'll just continue to increase year over year.
Gail, as an old teacher, I'm assuming that really to get buy-in is the principals and the teachers you've got to get to. How will you identify the schools where there are champions for this?
They seem to be coming out of the woodwork right now, which is really good. Because we're involved on the school travel planning, the Active and Safe Routes to School Steering Committee, all those stakeholders are already in place. We've already gone through the ethics review with the London Catholic School Board and the Thames Valley District School Board. We have the Parent Involvement Committee involved on this as well. And we have a great deal of support from the city, the police, and I think we're going to see that this is an initiative they really want to see grow.
So which schools do you go to? The ones that want to play, or the ones that actually are where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of...
We'll look at that, but with the funding, I think what we'll have to do is really just send out a blast of information so that they know the idea is out there. And those who have safe school committees that might want to tag on to this, to add this on, will be able to do that. We just got a call 2 weeks ago from Glen Cairn. I went and presented to their Home and School Association, and they are all for it. We're going to start up in January with them. So we have the 3-school pilot going, and we want to continue with this as much as possible. We'd like to see more schools involved. However, we need the resources to do that, and it's tough to do purely with volunteer resources, so we need that coordinator.
Time for one final question.
I was just going to ask for the audience to say, what is your request to the... Our
request is for $20,000. And that would be for a half-time coordinator and supplies.
you very much for your presentation and for your efforts and